And if you want something different, then you're going to have to do something different, which means you're going to have to put yourself someplace different, and you're going to have to open yourself up to different things. Happy Self-Love Sunday. I am Moe Sass, your host of Self-Love Sundays with Sass. I am your certified vision and empowerment and extreme execution coach who comes every single Sunday so we can talk about all the ways in which we can better our best. And I just have to start this off with the best news ever for me as a mom. My baby, y'all, my baby of 6 has graduated high school. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. I don't know how to feel about it. I'm just kind of letting it marinate. I'm very happy that, all of my children in their own right, listen, are successful in terms of getting them, through school. They're great little humans. Like nobody's children, okay, is gonna do everything they want them to do. I'm not gonna sit up here in front like my kids are doing everything I want them to do, and that's not the purpose of this, okay? All right, don't mind my business, mind yours, okay? The purpose of this, though, honestly, is just I've been a mom since 17, and literally now, it's not like I'm not a mom anymore, and it's different because I don't have any more babies. Everybody is through school and everybody is moving on with their lives. So now I'm in the stage of planning my new life because I'm young enough to build a whole new one. And that's exactly what I plan to do. Oh, so I just wanted to share that with you because some of you have been rocking with me for years. I've been doing this since I think like 2018. Yeah, I think 2017 maybe. And you've been with me for a while. So you've seen me with the kids and as they, have grown up and watching me with my daughter's graduating and all that other stuff. So I wanted to tell you about the baby because I'm still in my feels about it. And we're going to move on. And I'm going to ask you, of course, like I do every single Sunday, have you grabbed your copy of Finding Your Way, 7 Ways to Love and Heal Yourself? Again, for every single person who not have just purchased this, but also left reviews on Amazon, but also the personal messages of transformation and healing, I can't thank you enough. Thank you for supporting me in purchasing the book. But bigger than that, thank you for following through and reading it and actually working through the book. What's going on, y'all? We have to talk about what's going on with people just buying the books. I don't just buy books. If I buy them, I'm reading them. What's going on? We have to talk about that, but we're not going to talk about that today, okay? We're not. We're going to just move on because last week what we talked about is I came and I brought you all the nuggets that I gained from attending the UOU Summit with Dr. Eric Thomas, E.T. the hip hop preacher, for those of y'all who know him. And, CJ, he had a plethora of, celebrities come through and do interviews, like Milan she actually has a clothing line, Milano de Rouge out of Philly. So he had a couple of people come through. But it was just so many nuggets that I took away, and I wanted to come and share them with you because I'm sharing it with you for a few reasons. I want you to understand that anytime you put yourself in a room where you're gaining knowledge, which eventually turns into wisdom if you live long enough to actually experience some things, the best thing that you can do is come back and educate and tell others what you learn. And that's exactly what I do every single Sunday. Whether it's something that I'm personally have walked through myself or walk my clients through, I come in and I like to share because here's the thing. People, cliche or not, sharing is caring. I care enough about you to share this information with the hopes that you will take action behind them so you can also have transformation. The woman that I was even 2 years ago, I am not today. And I am not today because I put myself in these rooms and in these containers to continue to learn and to grow. And as I do that, I not only do it with my clients do it because I am big on each one, teach one, and paying it forward. So as we do things, my clients also give back as well. So without further ado, let's get into it. So the next nugget that I received, like number one takeaway, this is something that I know to be true, but I need you to know it to be true. And it is, I create as I speak. When EC said this, What, and so let me break it down. What that means is life and death is in the tongue. What that means is watch your mouth. Everything that you say about yourself and others is truly a reflection of how you feel about yourself. If you talk in lack, if you talk and gossip about others, it tells not only you, but the people that you talk to what state of mind you're in. And if you are someone who's looking to be successful, I don't care if you're looking to have successful relationships, a successful business, whatever, successful, relationships. And I'm talking about relationships with your children, your parents, your significant others, your friends. You are going to have to watch your mouth. How you pour into yourself means something. How you pour into other people means something. I'll give you a prime example. I had a client who also is a part of the accountability group as well. And I remember before he even became my client, the language that he spoke was just such a negative language. And it was a language of unbelief. So because he really didn't believe, and because he still was tied to all these old feelings and emotions that he hadn't healed in his life, when it came down to his career and making music, he wasn't moving the needle. It wasn't coming together. He didn't even really sound good in the beginning when we first met. And again, nothing was getting done. Fast forward to a year later. Listen, a year, not even a full year later for him. Oh my God. It is when I tell you this is a new guy sitting in front of me, the language, even how he speaks. And I actually said this to him, and I'm going to say this to you as well. And I know sometimes I do it, so I want you to know I'm not perfect in this, but even watching the ums all the time, the filler words, because when you speak with clarity and you pull out the filler words, what that says to someone that you're speaking to is that you're taking your time and you're thinking through what you're about to speak out of your lips instead of just fumbling around. And that also creates a difference of certainty. When you speak and you're not every other word, it exudes a confidence is what that does. And so I listened to him today. First of all, he put out a bomb single. Yes, he's a recording artist, put out a bomb single, as well as he's walking tall now. He's walking tall for two reasons. Number one, he started to watch his mouth. He spoke of good things. He went through his healing journey to heal his mindset. He put himself in the right room with the right people at the right time, because your environment speaks volumes. So if you live in an environment that's not positive, then guess what? Sometimes you got to pay to go to another environment so that you can get the positivity that you need. But he did that. And because of that, he now has released a successful single. I'm telling you, this is not rocket science. But the thing is, you got to know no one's going to do this work for you. No one's going to, if you don't know how to speak positive, because everybody does it. Some people don't even recognize that they are negative. I understand that. So what you have to do is put yourself around different people and have conversation as dialogues. I promise you, I went through an emotional intelligence program by a company called Next Level. And I literally put myself in the firing line. I went to every single one of those coaches and said, tell me how I can become better, because I can't see myself from inside the picture frame. And I understand that. But you also have to understand that. And if you want something different, then you're going to have to do something different, which means you're going to have to put yourself someplace different, and you're going to have to open yourself up to different things. Oh, this is so good. It's going to lead to this too. And when you go into those communities, because I see this, y'all, I swear to you, I see this. When you go into those communities, be open. Be open to change. If you come into me and you want accountability, or you go to any group and you want accountability, be willing to be held accountable. Or why else are you going? And be willing to, let me say this too, be willing to be held accountable to the things that you need to move the needle so that you can get to the transformational healing, or get to the next level in your life, or build that business, or grow in that business, or have the relationships that you want. You have to be open to it. But if you come and you're on the same old BS, you're going to get the same results. And this leads me to the second nugget. So the first nugget was I create as I speak. In other words, watch your mouth. The second nugget, oh, this was great. You can be unsuccessful with successful excuses. Whoo! You can be unsuccessful with successful excuses. That means if you come into a new environment and you're still getting the same results, that means that you're still exhibiting the same behaviors. That means that you're still using the same excuses. Oh, people have a problem with me. Oh, people don't believe in me. Or people no, at some point, you'll have to look in the mirror and say, what is it that I'm missing? Because if the common denominator is me, I'm missing something. I'm not telling you to beat yourself up. I'm not telling you to say you're a bad person. I'm saying you have to say something is missing here. I put myself in a community to grow, but yet I don't come in and tell them the things I need to grow from. I'm still coming in with my ego. I'm still coming in with my shame. Instead of being vulnerable and transparent and saying, hey, listen, I'm here to lay it all on the line. I'm here to open it all up to say, listen, I need healing. I need to change this thing. And why do I need to change this thing? Because I'm tired of not being successful. I'm tired of feeling like I'm behind. I'm tired of not getting the abundant blessings that is due to me. And how do you know that you are due abundant blessings? Because you're here on this earth and you're breathing. 1000%. If you're tired of living in a chaotic home, if you're tired of living in a chaotic mind, and you're tired of, unsuccessful relationships all over the place, then it is time for you to make a decision to say, I'm going to go put myself in this environment. I'm going to go work with this coach. I'm going to go work with this therapist so that then I can have the life that I want and the relationships I want and the love that I want and the peaceful household that I want. You absolutely can have it, but you have to remember you're going to be successful unsuccessfully if you keep using those same excuses. At some point, you have to say, I want to move from surviving to thriving, and I'm going to do what I can to make sure that that happens. I'm going to put myself in the right rooms, and I'm going to be open and vulnerable to coaching. I'm going to be open and vulnerable and transparent. And guess what? When you do that, that's exactly how you get the change that you desire. But nobody can do the work for you. A lot of times we go to sit listen, the unrealistic expectations that people have, I'm telling you, it blows my mind. They come in the room, but they're expecting for someone to do the work for them. You have to create the shift. I can't help you get from A to B if I don't know, first of all, who you are, what do you want, and where do you want to go? You have to know that. So again, you can be unsuccessful with successful excuses. What's a successful excuse? Well, I'm a mom. I'm a single mom. I have a 9 to 5. And listen, those are all what you call successful excuses. Valid reasons, if you say so. I had 6 kids. I could have used every single one of them. Every single one. I've been in my career now. I've been in the telecom industry, telecom manager for 25 years. I could have used any of. This is why I'm late to work. This is why I never did. Because I understood something. My kids were not going to be an excuse for me not to be successful. I had health reasons. There's all sorts of things that you can use. But there's a man out there, I can't think of his name right now, and God forgive me, he is a public speaker. He has no arms and no legs. And I mean, bro, I think it's Nick something. Oh my God. And he's still out there killing it every day. So how is it that someone with no arms and no legs can be out here killing it, making multi-millions, and you have all your limbs, you have the good sense that God gave you. You can read, you can learn, you can put yourself in certain rooms with or without money. I promise you that. And how do I know that? Because I was the $322 a month welfare mother. I will not come here and speak to you in terms of above. No, honey, I'm right here with you. You can do this. But you have to stop making excuses. I watched a TikTok yesterday of this man. Listen, guys, he came on and he was crying. I guess he had just went through. He was venting on social media about he was dating a woman and he felt like this woman no longer wanted to be bothered with him. He felt like she used him, and he was just going on and on about how people manipulate him. And here's the thing I want to say to you. I am not saying that his feelings are not valid. I'm saying that if you are talking about people manipulating you, if you're saying people are using you, if you are on the internet venting and crying to people in terms of like, I'm just going to like take my life and end it all over someone else, I'm going to tell you, I need you, if those are your thoughts, number one, to get in touch with a therapist today. Number one. Okay, number one, because we need to work through some things. And number two, I'm going to say this to you. I need you to hear me. When you do that, what you're saying is, these people have entire power over me. I cannot think, I cannot move, I can't even live because of another human. They have that much power over you. That's exactly, you're saying, these are my puppeteers. If they like me today, I'm happy. If they don't like me, I'm sad. Like, and I'm not saying to you, I want you guys to hear me. I have to give this disclaimer too on the internet, on social media, because sometimes my videos get clipped up, and this is a 30-minute video and it being clipped, and people be like, well, people have trauma. Listen, I want to give this disclaimer. In no way, shape, or form am I talking about someone who has been victimized violently or anything like that. I am a coach. I am a vision and empowerment extreme execution coach. And when I'm talking to people, I'm talking to people who are not generally are not experiencing mental trauma. If you are, I'm telling you, turn me off. I'm telling you, go get with a licensed therapist. Okay? That's what I'm saying to you. To everybody else, oh, I'm talking to you. I have to say this because people are like, oh, listen, and I'm going to be honest with y'all today. Real talk. I've experienced so much trauma in my life. So much trauma from being touched at 13s by my aunt's husband, to being preyed upon by older men when I was a young girl and just didn't have any sense of what it was to understand her own body, to being cheated on, to being used, given, money away, all of the things. Trauma. I've buried 2 sons. You want to talk about trauma? Because I was raised that the children get older and they bury the parents. I was never taught that parents bury their children. So when you talk about trauma, I've been there and I've done that. But I've also realized this. I took the trauma of that. I took the trauma of my aunt, who was only a year older than me, dying of cancer, not knowing even how to feel about that, and the way that shifted my life. But I decided to take that trauma that I had experienced from the deaths in my life, from being touched and from being manipulated and mind screwed. And when I'm talking about this, I'm talking about as a child, right? I decided to take that and get the healing that I needed. Because when you are a child, you are 100% victimized. But when you go into an adult, you can turn all of that into one victorious, testimony to heal yourself, to heal others. And you don't have to come out and do it like this. Even if it's just healing in your home, that's okay. But we cannot wear our traumas like this badge of honor that's keeping us, holding us back. Listen, we cannot do that. We are not our parents. My mother and father and them didn't even know about therapy and all that stuff. We have access to so much now. It's time to get the healing that you need, because you can absolutely do or have anything you want, regardless to what has happened to you. It is how you choose to respond to it. And I chose to take my 2 sons that I buried, Kenneth and Sahad. And let me tell you something. They walk with me every single day. They talk. I live harder. I give more. I love harder as a result of that. You absolutely can heal this trauma. So when you come underneath my comments talking about, people have trauma, when I talked about having hot conversations, honest, open, and transparent conversation, I said don't shy away from that because they actually breed clarity. People were like, well, you don't understand the trauma. I've been physically abused. Guess what? I was too. I was in a physically abusive and verbally abusive relationship at one point in my life. But I don't allow that to hold me back and not to be able to hear, something that's going to help me grow. And I'm not going to allow that to hold me back from the abundance of joy and peace that I know that, listen, that's my birthright, my financial abundance, my joy of my family. No, I went and got therapy. I had three therapists at one time. I had a therapist that helped me with my anger management because I was very angry as a result of all the things that I experienced and I felt I allowed in my life. I also had an EFT therapist. They do tapping, as well as I had a therapist that helped me get through the trauma of being sexually touched as a kid, because I refused to allow that to shape my life in a negative way. I will never allow the people who did that in my life to have that much power over me, because that's what that meant to me. That meant if I was to sit in that, if I didn't grow, if I didn't get healing, to me that says I'm still allowing them to control my life. And I'll be damned if I let the man who touched me at 13 feel like I still got a captive hold on her today. Because look at her, still running around with that trauma, still not able to be in a good relationship, still not being able to trust, still not being able to love herself. I will never give him that power over me, ever. Ever. Okay? I'm just saying, I'm talking for me. And why am I saying this to y'all? Because you can do it too. I promise you. And it wasn't easy. I'm not going to ever lie to you and say it was easy. It wasn't. I had to, I had to look back on what happened to me as a child and look at how it was shaping my life as an adult, and look how I was tearing up my relationships, and look at how, my lack of trust stopped me from I could have been way more successful than I am right now. But my lack of trust and how I was ruining relationships with my kids because I was having a stronghold on them because I was so scared that somebody would touch them. I had to go get the healing that I needed so that not only that I can live, but so everybody around me could live. And I know I went a little bit long with that, but I really want to express that in this video. Because people are wearing their traumas like a badge of honor. And it's like, well, I can't because I was traumatized, or I can't because I was molested, and I can't because somebody died or somebody was killed. And I'm here to tell you, y'all, listen, you can do this. You can do this. Talking from somebody who did it and actually wrote a book about it. So I'm not coming to you talking to you about something I think. I'm talking about something I walked out. Okay? So I know that was only number 2, so we're not going to probably get to all 5 today. I'll do another video, but that was important to me to say today. And I give God all the glory because I believe that that's what he needed me to say today. And I'll tell you this, my spiritual belief is another thing that helped me walk through it all. I don't care who you call your God. I will never tell you that, but I promise you, walking with a higher power than a human honestly helped me be here as well, and being able to walk through that therapy and be able to see where not only where I was hurt, but where I also hurt people, because that's so important. Because a lot of times when we start talking about our trauma, we don't see where we hurt people, but hurt people. And I promise you there's somebody that you hurt too. You're just not seeing it. Okay. All right. Now, number 1, I said was I create as I speak. Number 2, you can be unsuccessful with successful excuses. And the last one I'm going to give you is this. If you are all over the place, you get all over the place results. Now, who am I talking to? I'm talking to my creatives, my people like squirrel, shiny new object, new thing. Every 5 minutes, they got a new business. You look over, they're selling hair care products, selling insurance, doing this, doing that. No commitment to anything or anyone, just all over the place. Listen, if you create a vision for your life, and you are not in the place that you want to be, if you are living in chaos, if you are not financially stable, if you are not thriving Listen to me. Thrive in reciprocal relationships with your children, your significant other, your friends. If you are finding yourself feeling lonely in the room full of people, I'm talking to you. I need you to sit down and ask yourself this one question: what do I want? And if you cannot answer that question and be very specific about it, then the reason why you're not getting the results you desire is because you're all over the place. Every time something new comes out, you're like, let me do this, let me do that. And there's nothing wrong with, okay, first of all, I'm gonna be clear. If you're a young person, you're testing out like what you want to do and where you want to be, it's okay to do that. And at some point, you have to sit with yourself and say, well, what do I really love to do? What is it, that thing that comes to me so easily and naturally that lights me up from the inside out? And then be committed to it. And here's what I'll say to you: even if you're trying out something, try committing to it for 6 months to a year before you're like, I'm moving on, I'm moving on. I know so many people that do that. A lot of times my coaching clients, it's like, well, I'm not, I don't know what my purpose is, or I'm not living my purpose. Well, then when we get to unpacking this thing, they've done it. They lived 1,000,005 lives doing all these things. And what we discover is a lot of times they're running from some past trauma. A lot of times what we discover is their inner child is running the show. Their 8-year-old selves, their 16-year-old selves, they're running the show. There was a point in time in their life where they experienced some sort of trauma, and that inner child has taken over. And how you can tell sometimes, well, check your checking account. See what your balance look like. What does your credit look like? A lot of times we're like, oh, it's just, I don't have the money. No, it has nothing to do with the amount of money and how you budget. It has to do with who's running your life and why you're spending money the way you're spending it. Because if you have a vision for your life and you know where you want to go and where you want to be, your money actually is a telltale sign as to, are you doing the things that get you there? I went from $322 a month on welfare to 6 figures doing just that. Doing just that. Because that's the truth. Because I'm going to tell you this too. Because people are like, well, you work for a corporation. How many people you know that work for a corporation that started from the bottom and don't have that job? No, I had a vision for how much money I wanted to make, where I wanted my family to live. I knew how much it took to move us here, and I was going to go get it. In the beginning, I didn't have an entrepreneurial mind. I didn't. But here's what I did know. I knew I didn't want my kids to grow up where I grew up. I knew I wanted them to experience diversity. I knew I wanted them to be in the best school district. I knew I wanted them to live in a place where they could feel safe. So I went and did that research and figured out how much it costs to live there, and I went and got that. And I did it, and I climbed myself within the company. And it wasn't easy. I was a little ghetto girl. I didn't have a college degree or any of that. I had to go and take certification and every training I could just to learn how to speak. To learn how to speak proper English, okay? Honestly, I had to learn what filler words were. I had to learn how to read contracts. I had to learn how to be in the room with different ethnic groups and understand everything that they were saying and be able to speak to them in a language that they understood. I had to learn how to go into a boardroom. I had to learn how to show up. I had to learn how to dress. Yes, some of the things I got to see from my parents, don't get this twisted. Okay, my mother and father taught us as much as they could, but there were some things that they couldn't show me. Why? Because we lived in the inner city. So I had to learn. And then at some point, it wasn't on them anymore. I had to go and learn. And this is what I want you guys to hear. Can we just stop blaming everybody for where you are? Just accept and own your life. I need to hear you say, I am not a victim. If you're an adult, okay? If you're an adult, and I'll even give you grace. If you're 30 plus, I need you to start owning your life. I need you to stop giving your power away. I need you to stop saying it's this person's fault and he cheated on me and she cheated on me and she did this and he manipulated me. Take your power back. Take your power back so that you can stop being all over the place, so that you can get the results that you desire, so you can live the successful life, whatever success means to you, so that the words that you speak can create the life that you love, the joy and fulfillment that you want. You got to believe that it's for you. And I promise you, once you start believing it and start speaking it and start writing it, start putting yourself in the rooms with those people who also speak it, who also do it, not just speak it, but you can actually see this in action with it, your life is going to change. Your life is going to change, but no one's coming to rescue you. No one's coming. So you got to put that cape on your own back. You got to grab hold of that higher power that you believe in. You got to get yourself some help. And then, my friends, you'll have the life that you love and desire. And if you ever have any questions, or reach out to me, info@moesass.com. Or if you want to book with me, www.moesass.com. I will leave the links in the bottom of this video. I hope you have the most amazing Sunday. And I'm sorry, y'all. I'm going to come back next week and I'm going to give y'all some more nuggets. But I had to say that today, okay? I love y'all.